what's your status in Hollywood now? How would you describe where you are?
In Hollywood, I don't think I stand anywhere. Just being the daughter of one Hollywood superstar, my mom. I'm getting old, so I've worked a lot as a model, but I'm not working as a model anymore, and I regret it. But it isn't. It's just because they don't. Older ladies are not photographed as much as when you're young.
54, is that?
Yeah, I'm 54, but yeah, well, that's pretty old, you know. I mean, it's not that he's old, but in the world of fashion and cosmetic, at 35 you get old.
Why is that, do you think?
I think it still has to do with the fact that women are perceived as a sexual object, and a 50 or 60-year-old woman, herself, she wouldn't be that much interested in sex, so she would bring other qualities to films that that voice has never been heard. It's not that I mean, I myself, as a woman, feel that one voice of women, the seductive, the beauty, the love of fashion, the love of seduction, is almost too heard, is exaggerated. You know, I don't recognize that this is the biggest argument that is swimming in my head in my life.
I think it was Sharon Stone or someone said there's plenty of roles for women over 40 who really look like they're over 40, as opposed to women who have done a lot of plastic surgery to try to look like less than 40.
Yeah. Well, you know, I understand the need to do plastic surgery because they say, you know, if you're, who knows, you know, it's a very, someday I wake up and I say, well, why not? We have these new technologies, you know, this new operation. Why don't use them as you use cellular phone or computer? Why not? And then some other day I wake up, and those are the days that I mostly wake up saying, is this a new form of feet binding for the Chinese aristocrat lady? Is this a new way of really not loving women and tell
Torturing
them,
women.
Yeah, and tell them this is what, you know, this is what you should be instead of be. What do you mean should? You know? So you should be young, you should be thin, you should be blonde, you should have big tits. Should. Maybe it's not so good.
So what is the future of your father's films?
My father died in 1977 when there was absolutely nobody had no knowledge that film was deteriorating. I remember my mom once standing on the stage of an empty theater at the end of a play. It was the last day of the play. And she looked very sad, and I said, Mom, what are you thinking? And she said, oh, all this talent, you know, the costume designer, the playwright, the director, the actors, is vanishing. Thank God for films, that something will remain. Because she, too, had the illusion that film was a way to preserve our history, to have a record of what was happening, because we didn't know that the film itself deteriorates, that the sound deteriorates. The prints, if you take them out, they smell like vinegar, and it's also dangerous because they have fumes that can be poisonous for the people that handles it. If you look at the prints, they might turn into a magenta color, all pink. The sounds are incredibly difficult to restore, though.
Your father was criticized for that because people said he confused art with news.
Yes, yes, definitely. Because cinema has always been seen as escapism, as entertainment, as at the end of a hard days of work, let's relax and watch a film. It wasn't at all what my father did. He used film to bring consciousness and intelligence and facing. It was very tough films.
What do you think was the most important thing? I mean, you said, for me, it's like water, torture, drip, drip, drip into oblivion, talking about the disappearance of your father's film. Are you only talking about the physical films themselves, or the content of what he did and the messages within his film?
Both, you know. I mean, I have found myself, and this is why I felt the need to write my own book and do my own film, because I'm in this strange position of being the daughter of two artists, and it's sad for every kid that their parents die and that the parents are forgotten. And as you grow up, you meet friends that never met your parents, and you don't know how to tell them exactly who they were and how important they were to your life. But then there was another dimension that it was very difficult for me to gauge. Are my parents real great artists? Is it really worth saving their work? Or is it my love of them that makes me want that.
You've not drawn a conclusion?
I think they are, especially now. I know it because this retrospective is going to travel all over the world. It's going to go to MoMA in New York at the Museum of Modern Art. It's going to go to Los Angeles. It's going to go to British Film Institute. It's going to the Cinémathèque in France. So I'm saying, well, if they weren't important, all these institutions wouldn't have accepted them. So now I think that we did right. But often I preserved my parents' work with all the hesitation of saying, am I being naive? Am I being laughed at? Like, oh, she loved her parents, she's doing all that, you know. So this is what my books tells.
Or perhaps respect for you.
Or respect,
yeah,
yes.
You know, and so, oh, we'll go along with this little vanity project because it's Isabella Rossellini.
Exactly, you know, it's hard to tell.